If you've been following the headlines, you've probably heard about the South Dakota professor who just can't seem to stay out of the spotlight. Philip Michael Hook, a tenured art professor at the University of South Dakota, posted on Facebook calling Charlie Kirk a hate spreading Nazi. Shortly after Kirk was shot at a campus event, the post went viral almost immediately. Outrage followed. State officials demanded his firing. The university placed him on administrative leave. And Hook, he responded with a lawsuit claiming his First Amendment rights had been violated. A federal judge temporarily reinstated him, but the drama is far from over. Now let's pause for a second. This guy is an art professor, and yet he thought his Facebook rant would matter on a national scale. Really? Let's call it what it is. He massively overestimated his importance. He acted like his private opinion carried some kind of universal authority. And that's not arrogance. That's plain foolishness. You can be brilliant with a paintbrush, you can know your way around a sculpture studio, but that doesn't give you a free pass to make incendiary statements and expect no one to react. And yes, I am a free speech advocate. I am not here to cheer for cancel culture. I believe people should be able to express their opinions, even unpopular ones, but rights come with responsibility. Being a public employee, especially at a state funded university, means your off duty conduct can and will be scrutinized. Acting like your social media is a private free for all is naive, and in this case, it was reckless. Then there's the language itself. Calling someone a Nazi is not a casual insult, it's a term with historical weight and real world implications. Let me be blunt. If I lived in Nazi Germany, I would fight Nazis. I would attack Nazis. You'd almost have no choice. That's how serious this term is. And yet, here's a professor casually throwing it at a mainstream American commentator, someone open to debate, someone engaging in public dialogue. That is reckless. That is dangerous. And that is trouble waiting to happen. And this brings up a deeper concern. What about the students? If this person teaching your class is making extreme political statements, calling public figures Nazis, and drawing national attention, do students feel safe expressing their own views in the classroom? Do they feel pressured to hide their political beliefs to avoid conflict or judgment? That's a real question here. Education is supposed to foster dialogue, exploration, and critical thinking, not fear. And when a teacher acts this extreme, it creates an environment where students might feel that they have to self censor just to survive in the classroom. That's an ethical issue that cannot be ignored. So let's map this out. Step one, he overestimated his own importance. Step two, he made a statement that was extreme and incendiary. And step three, he faces consequences socially, professionally, and legally. And step four, the story spirals into a cautionary tale about judgment, responsibility, and the power of words. Legally, Hook has a temporary win. A federal judge issued a temporary restraining order preventing the university from firing him until the hearing is complete. That means his off campus post may be protected under the First Amendment, but legally protected doesn't mean ethically responsible. It doesn't mean he showed good judgment, and it certainly doesn't erase the potential danger of calling someone a Nazi lightly.
You actually got physically assaulted.
Correct. Yeah. Water thrown on myself. They threw an egg at me. And here's the interesting part. Candace and I were just minding our own business. We were just having, quiet breakfast. And they mobilized within 20 or 30 minutes, at least 50 of them, came into the restaurant, started calling Candace a Nazi. We're not going to retaliate if things get thrown at us. Little did we know we actually have stuff thrown at us. But look, we don't want to play the victim card here. That's what the left does all the time.
Instead, not the victim card, but this is...
Use this as a warning. This is what's called on by Maxine Waters.
And that's the heart of this story. Words have power. Labels have consequences. Public employees, even art professors, need to understand the impact of their words goes far beyond their immediate circle. I'm a student myself, and teachers who use language like this really intimidate college students. And the internet amplifies everything. Suddenly, what you thought was a private opinion becomes national news. It becomes part of a heated debate, part of a legal case, and part of a social firestorm. This case also highlights the tension between speech and accountability. You have the right to express yourself, but exercising that right without thought for context, timing, and audience is reckless. Hook's post, while legally protected for now, crossed a line in terms of judgment. It sparked outrage. It drew the attention of state officials, It put the university in a difficult position, and it painted a target, whether intended or not, on someone else. That's the danger of extreme rhetoric. And that's exactly what makes this story so compelling. Hook is back at USD. The lawsuit is ongoing, and the eyes of the country are watching. But the conversation isn't just about law, it's about human drama. It's about ego, poor judgment, and the illusion of influence. Hook acted like his personal opinion was universally important. He acted like the world needed his condemnation, and the reaction? Explosive, predictable, unavoidable. And let's be honest, this is the exact kind of story that keeps people talking. It's messy, it's dramatic, and it's human. And it's a lesson for anyone who thinks a Facebook post is just a Facebook post. For anyone who believes that their title automatically makes their opinion weighty. You're an art teacher, bro. And this is also a lesson for anyone who underestimates the consequences of words. So where do we go from here? Hook's case is far from over, and the outcome will be closely watched. We might even talk about it on this channel. Will the courts ultimately rule in his favor, or will the university take further action? How will this affect his career, his students, and the broader conversation about free speech and responsibility? These are questions we don't have answers to yet, but they are exactly why this story is worth following. As viewers, it's worth asking yourself, where's the line between protected speech and ethical responsibility? Should public employees be held to higher standards because of their influence? And what happens when someone misjudges their own importance and makes a statement that reverberates far beyond their control? This story isn't just about a professor, a Facebook post, or Charlie Kirk. It's about judgment, accountability, and knowing when your words have become bigger than you are. It's about the dangers of letting ego dictate action. And it's a reminder, sometimes your sense of self-importance can be your own worst enemy. If you want to follow more stories like this, revolving around the university story, I do want to reach college students where law, ethics, and human drama collide. Make sure you subscribe and check out our other content. Drop a comment. I want to know what you think. Where do you draw the line between free speech and responsibility for public employees? And is there ever a situation where calling someone a Nazi is acceptable in public discourse? This discussion is far from over, and the drama is just beginning.